Hi, this is part 2 of the bone rigging lesson. I'm picking up right where I left off in the last video, and I'm going to turn my torso layer there back on. If you're zoomed out, then click on your zoom tool and click Reset View. We want to see all of the bones. Go over to Tools, click on Select Bone, and then over here you're going to click and drag over the entire figure so that you have all of these bones selected. They should all be glowing in red. And now we need to go over to Tools and click on the Bone Strength tool. And you may remember this halo from when you made the star. So then you'll need to click, drag to the left to shrink that down to pretty much nothing. I'm going to zoom in. I can even go a little bit further, really. I just barely need to have anything showing at all on that bone strength halo around all the bones. The next thing we need to do is go over here into the Layers palette and double click on your main bone there, the top bone folder. And then here in the Bones tab, click on that. Be sure that you see Allow Nested Layer Control checked. Okay. And then next to it is a tab for depth sort. Click on that. And here, check this box, the Enable Animated Layer Order. And then click OK. Okay, so I've moved my figure around and I've got it so that I'm focused on just the head and the bone right there through the neck and the head. And I need to expand over here in the Layers palette where we had that nested bone folder for the head and you have all the parts in there. Open that up and you'll need to see all these parts. So click on the first thing that you have there. Mine is hair. And then go over here to the tools, and now bone has moved down. I know that's a little confusing, but click here on the Select Bone tool and click on this bone. This should be the only bone now that's glowing in red. And I'm going to select all the hair, so I can go up to Edit, Select All. And then in the tools right here is Bind Points. Click that. And then up here is a button, Bind Points. Click that. You'll see that all the dots got a little bit larger. Over in the Layers palette, click on the next thing down there in the Head folder. And I've got Mouth. And I'll click on Edit, Select All. I could do Control A too, that would be faster. I still have my Bind Points tool selected here, and I also still have this bone as the active bone, so I can just click on Bind Points. And you'll see all those points got larger. Go to the next thing down, the one that's within the Head folder there. And again, I'll do Control A to select everything, which is all the parts of the eyes and the brows. And I still have Bind Points. The bone is still the active bone, so I'll go up here and click on the Bind Points button. All right, I've got one more thing here, the face shape. And again, Control A to make sure that all the points are selected. And I'll go click on Bind Points. So that was it for my head bone folder layers, but you may have more. If you do, you need to follow that same process before you proceed. Now I need to add some of the points from the neck. All right, the neck was part of my torso layer. Over here in the Layers palette, I now need to click on Torso, and I can see that there are some points in my neck that actually seem to be a short one here. So I might add one right now. I'm going to go up here and click on Add Point and click right in here and add a point. Now this is a little different. In order to select only what I want, I need to go over here and, well, let's make sure that bone is still active. Click on Select Bone and click on the bone. Make sure this is the one that's showing up as red, and then go over here to bind points. Now, looking up here, I'm going to put a check mark next to lasso mode, and then I'm going to draw around just the points that are up here within the whole head or the face area. So now just these points are glowing in red from that whole body part. So now I can go up and click the Bind Points button, and you'll see they got a little bit larger. We can test this. Looking over here in Tools, there's the Manipulate Bones tool right there, and I'll click on it and test. And incidentally, I know I probably don't harp on this enough, but you should be on frame 0 for all of this. You should never be leaving frame 0 for all of what we're doing right now. If at any point while we're rigging the character, you end up on another frame other than frame 0, you'll start to see keyframes piling up in here. And that's going to be a big mess, and your character won't work right. So you'll have to delete all the keyframes, get back to frame 0, and start over. So let's do an arm now. I'm going to move over here so that I can see the whole arm, the arm and the hand. I'm going to hide my torso, so I'll click on the eyeballs next to torso. Looks like my back leg is going to be in the way too, so I'll hide that for a while. So this is the back arm and back hand. Look over in the layers and find your arm back layer and click on it. And my points happen to be selected, so I'm going to go up and edit, select none. And now over here to bone, I need to click on select bone, and I need to select this upper arm bone here. Then I need to click on bind points, and I want to select this piece that was the upper arm piece. So I'm going to go over here to Tools, and I'm going to click on Transform Points and click here in this object so that I can select all the points within that. Then I can go back over to Bind Points and click on the Bind Points button. Now to the next one, click over here to select bone, click on this bone, and then go up here, click on Transform Points, click down here in this object to select all the points in this lower arm part, click on Bind Points and the Bind Points button. Now we do need to add part of the hand, and I'm going to zoom in for this. Over here in the Layers palette, I'm going to click on Hand Back. I need to grab some of these points in here. Now I still have this arm bone selected. It's still the one highlighted in red. I'll click on Bind Points. I still have lasso mode checked. I'm going to draw around the points in that hand that are behind that sleeve. Now you see they're selected, and I can click on Bind Points. And now for the hand bone, I need to grab all the rest of these points, and I've just got a mess of them, and I'm not sure I'm seeing everything, so I just need to push this up a little bit. Now I need to select this bone right here in the hand, so going over here, select bone, click on it, and then Bind Points. Now I need to draw around all the rest of the points in the hand, and I need to make sure I get everything. We can't leave any leftover points, okay? And then click on Bind Points. And I'm going to zoom in more. I just want to make sure. I wasn't sure if I was missing something in here, okay? Looks all right. And now we can test this. Let me move some things around a bit. And over here, clicking on Manipulate Bones. So this needs some adjustment in here. I think I need to shorten up this bone. So I can go over here and I'll click on Select Bone to make that go back. And let me zoom in a little bit and then go up here and click on the top level for the character. And then over here, I'll click on the Transform Bone tool, and I need to grab this bone right here and pull this up a little bit, and then I'm going to have to pull this one up a little bit, make a little adjustment, and then back over to Manipulate Bone. So it's a little better, especially once we remove the line right here. Okay, so you can see how really small adjustments to the length of the bones can make a big difference. Now I've zoomed out just a little bit, and I wanted to point out that while you're in the process of rigging parts, you may see that other body parts are getting stretched along with them, and that's only because they haven't been rigged yet. So don't worry about that, just focus on what you're working on. I want you to go ahead and follow that same process to do the other arm and hand, and have it ready before you begin the next video. So I'm going to pause now and I'll continue in the next.